I've never told this story publicly before. Not because I don't remember it, but because even now, I don't fully understand what we saw that night. Years have passed, yet the memory still sits in the back of my mind, unresolved and unsettling. This happened in the early 2000s. My father, my brother, and I decided to try a hunting ground closer to home. We hired a local guide to take us through a forested region we had never explored before. It was November, right in the middle of whitetail rut season. Fresh snow covered the ground, and the forest felt silent in a way that only winter can create. We spent the entire day moving through back trails, staking out open areas surrounded by tall sedges, waiting patiently for something worth taking. Nothing showed up. As the sun began to sink lower in the sky, we agreed it was time to head back. By the time we reached the paved highway, darkness had completely taken over. The sky was clear, the stars sharp and bright, with almost no moonlight. There was no wind at all. If you've ever been somewhere truly dark, you know the feeling. The silence feels heavier, and even your own breathing seems loud. As we drove down the highway, we noticed bright lights far ahead of us. At first I assumed there had been an accident. In winter, that wouldn't be unusual. But these lights were intense, far brighter than standard headlights. They were so bright that our eyes had to adjust, and the darkness around them seemed to disappear. What confused us was that we couldn't see any vehicles. No headlights on the road, no silhouettes, just light. Blinding light in the distance. We kept driving, thinking there must be a hill or a bend in the road blocking our view. Everyone in the truck started guessing what it could be. Emergency vehicles, construction equipment, something normal. But there was no hill, no bend. The road was perfectly straight. When we reached the point where we expected the lights to be, they weren't on the road at all. They were off to the side, deep in the forest, about 200 to 300 yards away. We could tell because the trees themselves were illuminated, glowing against the darkness. We stopped the truck. For a moment, no one spoke. The lights were vibrant and unnatural, as if someone had turned the contrast up inside my eyes. I could see red and white flashing clearly. My brother insists he saw red and blue. My father says the red looked more orange. None of us could agree on the colors. The guide remained silent. Then, without warning, he raised his rifle and aimed it directly at the lights. Calmly, he asked, "Should I shoot it?" We immediately told him no. No hesitation, no discussion. Absolutely not. For about 5 minutes, we stood there on that empty highway, staring at the lights flashing deep within the forest. There was no sound, no movement, just silence and light. Eventually, other vehicles began to arrive. Cars pulled over. People stepped out into the cold, trying to get a better look. There were 6 or 7 vehicles stopped along the road, strangers standing together in silence, all focused on the same thing. As more people arrived, the lights began to shrink, slowly. They didn't fly away. They didn't suddenly turn off. They simply became smaller and smaller, as if they were pulling themselves inward, until they vanished completely. We stayed there for a long time after that, waiting to see if anything else would happen. Nothing did. We used to camp in a nearby park, but that was our first and last time hunting in that region. None of us ever went back. As for the guide, we never saw or heard from him again. What made the experience so disturbing wasn't fear in the traditional sense. It was the stillness, the silence, the overwhelming feeling that we had no control over what was happening. Even now, I can't explain what we saw that night. But I know one thing for sure. Whatever it was, it didn't feel like it wanted to be seen.